Yes, fishers, we've got a little bit of exciting news at the moment. Guess what? They just released another 3,000 cod into Lake Albert. How good's that? Looks like in the next few years we're going to have a lot more cod there to catch. Not that it hasn't been good already. We're getting a few cod, a few yellers, walking the bank casting. Very good. You know, getting a few off the bank with bait. Little jackal type lures are doing the job extremely well. So pretty happy with Lake Albert, I can tell you now. But back into the wider scheme of things, getting a few reports from Maso down in Albury tells me Dartmouth isn't too bad. They're still getting them down deep, so they've got to go down about 20 foot or so, even up to 30 feet to get a good, reasonable catch for the day. Getting some respectable trout out of it, so it's certainly worth the effort at the moment. Disappointing news down there though, the Hume Weir seems to have gone a bit flat on us, which is really disappointing. It has been fantastic over the last couple of months, and actually it's been one of the better spots. Now, they are still catching redfin out of it, but they're real patchy and really hard to find. When you do get on a patch, you might get a decent feed, but even up to last week they were getting some good ones, but now it just seems to have disappeared basically. A few yellers, a few reddies, but nothing exciting. Victorian streams are good. Mulwala, now there's a special spot at the moment. Now it doesn't always fire up, but at the moment it seems to be, and they're getting some very good cod out of it. Surface lure action is super hot down there as we speak. They seem to be getting some very good results, mainly flicking pompadours and moonwalkers and that sort of thing around. They seem to be doing the job. If it comes up a little bit rough and a bit choppy, use the Jaws surface lure. It can handle that rougher water and it covers a lot of ground, so it's a fantastic lure for that situation. The Murrumbidgee River, pretty hard to beat, I can tell you now. It's fishing really, really well. Couple of days over the last week have been a bit patchy there, but overall, you don't get it too much better than what it is. The creek's been very inconsistent, Old Man Creek I'm talking about here, but the river from Wagga downstream, hard to beat. Even upstream's pretty good, but not as consistent as the downstream scenario. We seem to be getting a few more yellow belly than normal. Blowering Dam, full moon coming up in about 10 days, so be prepared over the next 4, 5, 6 days. Start to get stuck into that nighttime fishing. There will be some big cod and big yellers come out of the Blowering over the next full moon. Burrinjuck not too bad, getting a little bit of activity out of there. A few yellers around the timber, getting a few nice cod, but it's not as good as Blowering. But the full moon might change that, I can tell you now. Yukonbean, Tintangra, Jindabyne, our 3 snowy dams, all producing good numbers of trout. Things down the coast are starting to clean up a little bit, so they actually should fire up in the next week or so. Hope so. Hopefully you'll be able to get out there and get some good flathead and good brim over the next couple of weeks, because it really does fire up after we get a bit of a fresh through it. This is the Compleat Anglers Fishing Report for this week. We'll catch you next week.